Hey y'all. Uh so here we are cuddled together in bed again. I know you I hope you love these bed sessions as much as I do. It's a good way to snuggle up and be intimate. Um no homo. Uh to be intimate in a very heterosexual way with probably a bunch of guys out there. But I wanted to talk about something that's come to my attention recently, and that is with the release of David Fincher's new movie, The Killer, which is available to be seen on Netflix. And I do recommend it, and maybe in the future, maybe in the near future, I'll give my thoughts on the that movie. It was as I understand it, it had a limited theatrical release, and then it's mostly a Netflix kind of deal. So so with the release of that movie, David Fincher, the movie maker, David Fincher as a movie director. I know he's directed television as well, but the whole idea of David Fincher movie auteur has come up again, and as a result, you hear a lot more discussion about his whole oeuvre. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right, but yeah, please correct me in as patronizing a way as possible. Oeuvre, the entirety of the David Fincher canon is being brought up again as a result of Fincher being in the spotlight. And this his movie is kind of, it seems like it's getting mixed reviews, which is a little surprising to me because I think it's really good. It's Fincher in good form. I wouldn't put it in the high echelon Fincher of, say, Fight Club, which we're going to get to in a second here, which is, I think, indisputably the best David Fincher movie. I would also put Seven up there pretty high, and I like The Game as well. I think I'm pretty partial to those early three. I guess there was Alien 3 before any of those. But I'm partial to that triumvirate, and maybe in that order. Even though they didn't come out in that order. But Fight Club 1, 7, 2, and The Game 3. That would be those were my rankings of his top three. And as for what comes beneath that, I would have to give it some more thought. I haven't seen The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but I've seen all of his other movies. So people have, or I shouldn't say people because we're talking about critics. We're talking about people, movie commentators, movie reviewers, journalists. Okay, let's just use the J word. I know it's a nasty word. I know that it's not a word we're supposed to use in polite company, but let's just use it anyway. Journalists. I know it's a very harsh word, and you kind of feel, ooh, am I going to get canceled now? Now that I said that awful slur, but you know what? Just roll with it for the next few minutes. Yes. So I've come across more and more of these articles, or I guess they're mostly articles online, but things that catch my eye because or that I guess they get on my queue because it's sort of the stuff that I'm into. And you can't really talk about David Fincher without talking about Fight Club. That's his most famous and most notorious movie that he's ever made, and it's been hugely influential, and the influence has reverberated through the decades. And I was there from the very beginning. I remember seeing it in the movie theater and being like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" That was honestly my reaction to it, and I think I saw it again maybe the next day. And I remember Martin Scorsese's "Bringing Out Your Dead" or "Bring Out Your Dead" was was around at the same time, and I remember seeing that and thinking to myself, "Well, Marty, I love you, but I think the torch has been passed to a new auteur." Those are my thoughts at the time. Anyway, um, yeah, Fight Club. Even though it was not a big hit, even though initially, at the box office, it only did okay. It maybe broke even, and then just kind of fizzled out. But it was a cult classic from the beginning, from day one. I remember watching it and then getting on the internet, and of course the primitive internet of 1999, and already there were there were people out there, making their primitive websites about Fight Club, and commenting on it, and just it really struck a chord really hard with a lot of people. And when I say people, I mean men. Now I'm sure that the women have watched it and have enjoyed it, and maybe it's even resonated with some women as well. But I think by and large this is the quintessential man's movie. It's like a man's movie that's like a thinking man's movie. There are men's movies that are like, you explosions and I don't know, machine gun battles and all that sort of thing. That's sort of a, the sort of meat and potatoes men's movie. But this is the kind of men's movie that like appeals to the mind, as well as an incredibly visceral experience, and an immensely complex movie, as far as themes go, as far as what it's about, as far as what it has to say about the state of masculinity in modern times, and and as far as the the figure who becomes the main character, Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt, who is I think it's okay to say this because it's like 24 years later, but he wasn't real. He wasn't actually there. But nevertheless, he is still the main character in the movie. Even though he's just somebody's projection, he's somebody else's fantasy. He's the projection of another character whose name we never learn, played by Edward Norton. Um, but when it comes down to Tyler Durden, and of course Chuck Palahniuk wrote the book that it's based on. He deserves, of course, a lot of credit as well. I think the book. This is one of those instances where the book is better than the movie, but the book is also really good, and it should it should get its plaudits as well. Um, but I remember from the start, the way that it appealed to me, and the way that it seemed to appeal to others, and what it tapped into, and it was like um, it, it was an undeniable, I keep saying visceral, sort of, but what I mean is, like, there's a certain spirit of anger and aggression, and like just like I'm so tired of this crap. I'm not gonna do what they I'm not gonna be caged in anymore. And that's what it really taps into when you see the mild mannered main character and then what he becomes in his workaday life, and the sort of things that he ends up doing, uh, the stunts that he pulls, just in at his job, like beating himself to a pulp in front of his boss. Just scenes like that like have such a profound, powerful effect on the viewer. And the character of Tyler Durden, he's a complicated character. I mean, for one thing, he doesn't actually exist. That's kind of complicated in and of itself. But as far as what one can say about him, is he good? Is he bad? Is he is he like a manipulative cult leader, or is he leading men to the truth? And it seems like it's not an either or. Uh, it's a both and kind of deal. Um, and the point of the movie seems to be that Tyler Durden can take you so far, but eventually you have to reassert yourself. And anyway, that would be my interpretation of the ending. Even though by the time the character asserts himself and effectively kills off Tyler, uh, the damage has been done, and it's their Project Mayhem has gone into full swing, and we who knows what happens next. And that's also part of what's exciting about the movie, is just that it doesn't avert the apocalypse, or whatever it is that happens at the end of the movie. Uh, you know, uh, you're left with a man. Things are going to really change now, but how are they going to change, and what's going to happen, and what will become of the main character and of Marla Singer, this girl that he's fallen in love with along the way, and all this stuff. It's just, I don't know. I can't speak highly enough about it. It's a great movie. Now, what was pissing me off lately is, of course, in 2023. um, and the thing is, I thought things were bad in the 90s. I thought, man, this political correctness is just killing us. I'm so tired of it. But it's so much worse today. So much worse. Um, and so people writing about David Fincher, like ranking his movies or whatever, and they get to Fight Club and they have to say, well, of course this movie was really badly misinterpreted by a lot of people, and so they have to just shit on the correct people, to just shit on the incels and the manosphere, and whatever, the kind of the red pill people that they, again, these anti-feminist men who are now out there, who are a force to be reckoned with, at least on the internet, uh, make themselves known in one way or another, and who are very strongly disapproved of by the establishment. And today, in the 90s, you could write about fight, and into the 2000s. You could write about Fight Club and say, yeah, it's controversial, but it's very compelling, and you don't have to resort to this problematic. This movie is very problematic. Um, and of course, what they have to do today is they have to make it very simplistic. They have to say, well, it's a great movie, but it's just been misinterpreted by a lot of people, a lot of ignoramuses out there, a lot of dumb men out there have misinterpreted this movie, and have seen Tyler Durden as a guru, or as a hero, somebody to emulate. And that was just always just a misinterpretation. Tyler Durden was always just this villainous, or this person that we were supposed to see as evil, and we were supposed to not enjoy his speeches, and we were not supposed to feel any kind of real catharsis from the whole notion, the notions of Fight Club and Project Mayhem, and doing all the things that are done in that. We're supposed to, these they get all lectury, and they say, these people, it's a great film, but it's just been misinterpreted, and the truth, what's so annoying about it is, even at the time, I mean, everybody knew, everybody who had, a couple of functioning brain cells, knew, that watched the movie, knew that it was complicated. They knew that Tyler Durden was a dangerous character, and in some ways, very, very reckless, very impulsive, maybe even psychotic. Certainly at times manipulative. All those things were true about Tyler Durden, and yet he was also speaking a lot of truth, and it was the truth that got spoken by him in that movie. That's the part that stays with you. That's what's compelling about it. That's what makes you keep coming back for more. That's what generates multiple viewings. It's not just that it was filmed well, or the editing, or the music, or the acting. Even though all those things are great about it, the cinematography, what have you. I mean, all those things are really, really good in Fight Club. But it's the themes that you keep coming back to. And what appeals to you about it is, that it presses this question about men, and about men effectively being neutered in modern society in one way or another. By living in a technological world, where they just have become, in effect, consumers, or by feminism, or in various other ways, and the reassertion of the primal masculine imperative that we see manifesting through the Fight Club scenes, through the fight scenes, through the violent scenes, and the crazy stunts, and just the kind of wanting to just flip off society, flip off everybody, and be completely anarchic and ungovernable. All of that. That's the appeal of it. And now, because there's this perceived fear. I think because this particular, the manosphere, not just the manosphere though, just this entire movement of this entire dissident movement, which is composed of many things. It's partly the manosphere, and it's partly Trump related stuff, nationalism, and to some degree racialism and anti-feminism, and all these kinds of notions and ideas that we are not supposed to be entertaining We're not even, these writers write about these ideas like they're just to be dismissed out of hand, as though the only ideas that we should accept are the ones that they tell us to accept. And that's the most insulting thing I think about it, is the infantilization of cultural discourse, where it used to be like, I don't know, there's something about this movie. It might be an invitation to fascism, which seems kind of dangerous, but I don't know. It's compelling too at the same time, and it's up to the viewer to decide this, that, and the other thing. You know, they were reviewers and critics and like just people in general, people who felt didn't feel the need to just tell you what to think about everything. But now in the 2020s, you have to be told what to think, and you have to be solemnly instructed that if you enjoy Fight Club, if you get if it gives you a kind of thrill or a charge to watch these men do these things, and to hear Tyler Durden's speeches about we've had no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our lives. And, the things you own end up owning you. All the other bon mots that Tyler Durden has in that movie. If we think there's something to his philosophy, it shouldn't be taken wholeheartedly. We should take it to a certain degree, and maybe in the end, trim off a little bit of the more destructive aspects of it. But there's something to it. There's something useful, and instructive about it. Now it just has to be no, 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 no. You just misinterpreted it, and it's just really annoying. So those are my thoughts about Fight Club as it turns 24 years of age, and as things just keep getting worse. Everything that was bad about Western, the state of Western post civilization in 1999 is far worse in 2023. I don't think anyone would dispute me on that. So those are my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you think below. Thanks for watching.